Let's see what we got in store today. Let's see if the sound is working. Okay, yeah, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. John Miglosh for the WDMA. We're going to be talking about direct mail today. Good guess, right? Okay, and I got the thing the wrong way, I think. I don't think that was right, but we'll do our best. Interestingly, we have one in the last week and a half. I have, most of my videos go about 200, 300 in impressions. I don't know what an impression is. It means you slow down on your feet, I guess. And so one of the videos, the one with Jeff Tarran's article about predictive modeling, predictive prospecting more, has 5,600 views or impressions, and so it must be because of that article. I don't know. How do you tell what LinkedIn is up to? But last week we tried putting up the video on YouTube and then linking it to LinkedIn, not live on LinkedIn, and we got more views on YouTube, so that's pretty good. We may do more of that. We'll probably do more of that. You might notice I got a little bit of a white shadow going here. I read a book. I'm Eastern Orthodox Christian, and I read a book called Thinking Orthodox, and it said that, you might want to grow a beard if you're Orthodox. Now, most of my career I've had a beard. My wife says I look younger without it. You can vote if you like. But, no matter how hard I try, it keeps coming. It just keeps coming, and it's really hard to slow down. And so I, as the sage old direct mail guy, I think maybe the beard is appropriate, even if I do look a little bit older than my millennial friends. So again, feel free to comment. I think they're working today. I never know for sure unless you comment. So let's get over to Tom Fishburne, focus groups and the oracles of Eden-Prarie. It's interesting because I was just up there in Eden-Prarie, or went next door to it on my way to Burnsville, down I-35W. And the decision is, some of them I really do laugh out loud, and most I don't, of course, because I'm a marketing guy and I know the idiocy of it all. This decision is so important. Let's leave it up to whoever we can find willing to give up an afternoon for free snacks and a Starbucks gift card. In other words, that's how they recruit people to go to the focus group. And he's got some really good ones on focus groups. I don't think I've ever actually. I think I've been in one once maybe, but it was more like a training one than it was like, it's a lot like these strategic planning meetings. So we've got a little bit on that for you today. Okay. This cartoon is less about focus groups than how we use focus groups, or really any type of market research, or really any type of market speculation. One of the things you got to understand is that marketing in general is predicting the future, trying to guess the future. I used to be really intimidated that the accounting people, all their numbers added up. And I'm predicting the inventory levels and the response rates out, for a year, and sales and, profitability of all of our campaigns, and the accounting guys would say, well, you're off by 2%. How come you're so sloppy? And I didn't really think about it until later, that shoot, let's have you predict, let's have a contest. You predict next year's numbers instead of looking at this year's past numbers. right? So don't feel too bad. And 2% would be like hit it out of the park. I think for that particular client who I'm trying to get back to work with, um, and maybe we'll know this week, and I'll let you know. But I'm really excited about it. Uh, but try to. I think for 6 years I had 2 years where I was like over 5% variance, and I had 4 years where I was between, or 2 years between I was 2 and 5%, and 2 years where I was under 2%. Okay, let's see you do that. Anyway, so marketing is trying to do something impossible, and we use any kind of crazy ideas to get there. So focus groups are part of it. But years ago, Fishburne overheard some agency friends joke about the oracles of Eden-Prarie, which is up in Minneapolis area, southwest of town. Eden-Prarie is a suburb of Minneapolis, and there's lots of focus groups. The strange process. They went on to describe the strange process of bringing in new ideas for campaigns or new products or packaging designs to be judged by the oracles of Eden-Prarie. 8 randomly selected people who had no idea how much power their words held on whether these products and ideas made it. But frequently we ask questions that anyone would have trouble answering, like articulating their unmet consumer needs. And the truth is, if we have an itch, we scratch it, but if we don't have an itch, we don't think about it. You don't just start scratching for no reason, right? And so the need to scratch is connected to the sensation of itching. And if you're not you're not having any itchy sensations, it's really hard to speculate. Ask yourself, what am I going to buy next? Let's make it fun. Next month. And maybe you got something on the docket that you're going to buy a car, or you're finally going to buy that house you've been dreaming about, or you're going to leave the rat race and buy a sailboat and sail around the world. More and more people are doing that. But besides that, and you say, well, I probably need trash bags, and I think we just ran out of eggs. But, there's sort of these huge lifelong dreams, and then there's these trivial consumer things that you don't put much thought into. See what's on sale. Okay. So the all-knowing, I once drew oracles of I once drew the oracles of Eden-Prarie in a cartoon on top of a mountain with a marketer climbing to ask, "Oh, all-knowing focus group, tell me your unmet consumer needs so that we can create a disruptive innovations for you." And the oracles replied, "More promotions, make everything cheaper." That's like when I think it was Nebuchadnezzar asked his wise men, looking out over his great empire, what one thing could he chisel into stone that would always be true? And they came back a couple of weeks later and they said, "This too shall pass." Make it cheaper, give us a better deal. Okay, Stephen Gans at Pepsi recently talked about using an AI tool called TasteWise to search for new snack flavor ideas, and they came up with seaweed. If you would have asked consumers, let us know what you think would be a great flavor for this brand, no one would have ever come up with seaweed. People don't associate that. People don't associate that typically with specialty snack from a brand. But because of the kind of listening and the outside in work we did, we were able to figure that out through the AI that's embedded with that tool. And it's like, I'm thinking to myself, okay, take all the tastes that you can think of, just write them all down. Or, go online and say, tastes. Food tastes or something general, and and then make a list of all of them, and then say we're going to make a snack out of whatever we draw out of this hat. Put them in. You might as well do that. AI isn't predicting that this is going to work. It just happened to hit on seaweed. I don't know. Treating any source of consumer insight as an oracle. often lead you astray, right? They're all tools for decision making, but shouldn't replace decision making itself. Ah, and this is what I've been getting at. So much of the marketing world. My sister is in marketing, and we were laughing about some of the crazy stuff that marketing comes up with. Here's some good ones. All-knowing focus group, tell us your unmet consumer needs. Here he is coming up to the top of the mountain. More promotions. Make everything cheaper. Sometimes he really nails it. That was a good one. We're having a focus group to test questions to ask in our next focus group. Let's have a meeting about our next meeting. I would definitely choose the kale tofu salad over the crispy bacon cheeseburger. Definitely. Does anyone want that last donut? And the problem with focus groups. And, here you have what people say. There was a famous study, and I always like to say that, famous study. And it was about, and they laid out all their products and said, what looks good here. And the people talked about, what they liked, what they didn't like, and what they thought. And then after they got done with the focus group, there was a table outside the door, and they said, well, just take anything you'd like. Just take one, please, but, whichever one you'd like. And so everybody left, they wrote down, there was no correlation between what they had said they liked and what they took off the table. And they went with what got taken off the table, and that was the home run. And so, what we say we like, ask 100 people, would you be more interested in an ad that was about something that you felt you need, or would you rather see ads that you would about things you'd never need? And I used the example of cigarettes, which we used to see ads for, or ladies support garments. Those used to be on TV a lot, and when you're 10 or 11 or 12 or something, you might be really curious about that. But I've never bought any of that stuff. Well, no, not really. I'm not going to go any further into that. But anyway, so Pinocchio's here, and his nose is growing about the tofu salad, but he wants the last donut. So here's a person that's interested in junk food, but says they want kale tofu salad. Here's one where the observers, this is typically a one-way mirror. I don't like it. Poof. Me neither. Poof. And then we get rid of them and we keep the people that we want to listen to. And this is a good one. And it has a lot of chatter. And then it says our director likes option 8. So that's probably what we'll do. In other words, doesn't listen to anybody really. And here's the article that Tom references with Grace Mahas, AI-generated food concepts. And this is about Pepsi's seaweed experiment with Stefan Gross, Chief Consumer Insights and Analytics Officer. That's a mouthful. Okay. The brand also leverages black swan data, examines social conversations around food on Reddit, Twitter, blogs, and review boards to get social prediction. Now we got to get rid of that person. Hey, it's the same person. It's spam risk again. I get a lot of those. That same person calling me. Here's one I liked. One notable innovation that came out from the research was Off the Eaten Path, a seafood-based savory snack. I wonder if it still exists. I'll have to look that up for you. Okay, now last we're going to just take a second and we're going to look at number 4 here because it was a pretty easy one to talk about. And if I can get to, I thought I saved it and I thought it was going to come up just exactly the way I saved it, but it doesn't. Direct mail is trackable, and this is from Neil Patel. And he says, technically, there's no automatic way to track direct mail response rates. And I don't know what he means by that. Anytime we send out a catalog, we would put a key code and we would say to maybe this isn't automatic, but, we would say to the telecenter, make sure you get that key code. Now, oftentimes they would make them up, and that would kind of throw things off. But also, when we got to the web, then we would just say, get an extra $5 off or something if you put in your key code from the back of the magazine. Is that not automatic? I don't know. I suppose somebody has to put it in. But now you have a QR code, and you can, if you like shopping on your phone, you can put the QR code. You can put a QR code in at every item. I never see anybody doing it at the catalog level. I don't know why they don't do it, at least on some of the popular items. Save me some time. My kids love shopping off their phone. Take me right to it. That seems pretty automatic. But then Neil contrasts that with a Facebook ad. Unlike a Facebook ad, you can't track that the user went from your ad to your product page. And oftentimes, somebody will just tear out the catalog, the page, and they wouldn't have the key code, which is okay. But we would still track it back. Some clients of mine actually changed every item number to correspond to that catalog. And you can do an enormous amount depending on the level of tracking that you like. But I would contend that this is false, that you don't know who saw your ad in Facebook. You put in a geodemographic, unless you're uploading the names, which almost no one even knows is possible. It is possible, uploading the addresses and saying to Facebook, make sure these all get to see the ad. But almost no one does that. Almost everyone does a sort of a geodemographic select because they want a prospect and they don't have the addresses of the prospects, right? They're not going to rent a list to then submit it to Facebook. At least I've never heard of anybody doing it. And so therefore, you don't know what users saw your ad. All you can do is take Facebook's word for it that all of these people who went to your ad came from Facebook. Now, never mind, if you also mailed people, especially if you rented lists, they may have gone from your ad to their Facebook page. They may have said, that looks really interesting. And then maybe they just happened to be stumbled upon in Facebook. But your ad triggered the thought in their head that I think I might want that, the itch. And then they go to Facebook and then they're tracked, and he makes this point. Maybe a customer visits your website after seeing direct mail piece. While this person would count as a lead from your website, they should be a lead from your direct mail campaign. But wait, we just said direct mail is trackable. Yeah, well, all you have to do, and he never gets to this. I actually highlighted this. No, it must be down further. Oh yeah, there it is. How about matchback? See, when you start with a mailing list, you can match right back to who you mailed. And when they order and they want to ship it to their address, then you've got a pretty tight link. Now, you're not going to get everybody, but it's about as good as anything else. Digital transformation or attribution favors digital advertising. When you take Facebook's word for it or Google's word for it, all these people came from our ads that you had us place. Well, good luck with that. There's all kinds of articles about how spurious that is, right? Whereas direct mail, we know exactly who we sent it to. We know they saw it. Let's back up. We know who we sent it to. We know it got delivered, unlike Facebook. We know it went to a decision maker because you don't let your kids pick up the mail. And we know that the person made a decision because you have to decide. Direct mail doesn't throw itself away. They made a decision to set it aside for later or to trash it or to order. And that is real trackability. We're not tracking clicks. We're not tracking persistence or time on the website. We're tracking orders. Direct mail is more trackable than anything in digital, I would contend, because in digital, we don't know who sees the ad. Same thing with mass media. Okay? So, anyway, this is the danger of getting excited about direct mail without getting the old sage involved. So give me a call if you're thinking about direct mail. We had a wonderful time in Minnetonka on Thursday. Sorry you missed it. We'll have a regular one of our regular Zoom meetings coming up shortly, probably the early part of May. So have a great day. Like and share. Don't forget to comment on the shrubbery